Let's read some more Epictetus, shall we? I did number 2 and number 1 and number 2 in the previous video on Epictetus, and I'm skipping number 3 because it's not something I agree with that much, but I'm gonna talk about number 4 and 5. I'm gonna read them with you. When you're going to take in hand any act, remind yourself what kind of act it is. If you're going to bathe, place before yourself what happens in the bath. Some splashing in the water, others pushing against one another, others abusing one another, and some stealing. I didn't know that that's what goes on in the bath. And thus, with more safety, you will undertake the matter. If you say to yourself, I now intend to bathe and maintain my will in a manner conformable to nature, and so you will do in every act. For thus, in any hindrance to bathing shall happen. If any hindrance to bathing shall happen, let this thought be ready. It was not this. It was not this only that I intended, but I intended also to maintain my will in a way conformable to nature, but I shall not maintain it so if I am vexed at what happens. Alright, when I read that, I'm relating it to this. The Zen Buddhist that I've been talking about. I've done like 3 videos on this book, about 3 of the chapters that are in this book. There's like 7 or 9 or something. He talks about mindfulness. Talks about being one, reminding yourself of the acts that you're doing, breathing, and being like observing your breath and all this different stuff, having a day of mindfulness. And this Epictetus reminds me of Nathan, because here in this 4th proposition, he's talking about reminding yourself of what act you are going to undertake before and during your taking of that action. Again, if you're gonna go out and party with your friends, be mindful, or just understand what that all entails. What does that include? What does all that include? In partying with your friends? Are you going to smoke? Are you going to drink a lot? Are you going to possibly dance? Which things are you going to drink? What are you going to do? Totally. Where are you going to go? And just, I don't know, be mindful that I'm having fun, or I'm drinking right now, or drinking that's a bad example, because when you drink, you lose this oneness that this guy talks about. So I guess what I'm saying is that I think this is like he talks about bathing. What does bathing entail? Is it going to entail just washing yourself? Is it going to entail turning on the water to get the right temperature? But what should be done is you should remind yourself of what you're doing. Keep reminding yourself that whatever your intentions are, then know what those are. And this is, I think this is one of the steps one of the many steps that he talks about when moving towards mindfulness. So I like that one a lot. That one's good. Let's go to number 5 now. Men are disturbed not by the things which happen, but by the opinions about the things. For example, death is nothing terrible. That's a Stoic idea. Epictetus is a known Stoic. This is definitely a Stoic idea. Death is nothing terrible. For if it were, it would have seemed so to Socrates. Now, what he's referring to is Socrates' defense. Socrates' defense in one of Plato's writings. And what happens? Let me just talk about Socrates for a minute. If you don't know what Epictetus is referring to here. He's talking about well, this whole proposition is talking about opinions and the way things really are, but he's talking about death is not a fearful thing. But if it were fearful, then Socrates would have been scared. Now he's referring to Socrates. Now I'm going to just tell a little bit about Socrates. Socrates was a man who was doing philosophy in Greece. He was going about doing some things that a normal person wouldn't do. Now in Greece, if you don't know a whole lot about Greek society, in ancient times, if you did not do certain things with others, if you did not drink wine, if you did not go to the place where they wrestle naked. If you did not go to the gym and exercise, if you did not do social things, if you did not do such things, then you were considered an outcast. You were considered to be not a regular person, and you would be basically frowned. It's very frowned upon to be different, exactly, in ancient Greece, and it's very frowned upon to be like that. Socrates was like that. Socrates was someone who went around talking to people and talking about different things, and doing his weird experiments about things. And he went to the Delphi, and he went to the Oracle at Delphi, and thinking about who the wisest person in the land is, and he's just thinking about all these things, and then he gets put on trial. A guy accuses him of witchcraft and of corrupting the youth. And what happens is, that in the trials of ancient Greece, when you were put on trial, you were given a chance to defend yourself. And if Socrates knew that if he would have been convicted of this crime of witchcraft and of corrupting the youth, he knew that he would be executed. And what he did with that speech is he engaged in a philosophical argument. Is pretty much what happened. Now there's if you want to read into that, I kind of forgot what Socrates even talked about, but he was just kind of talking about. He was sort of just talking about certain things that were relevant to himself. I totally forgot it. I wrote a paper about this a long time ago, but 3 years ago. But what matters is that he used his time of defending himself to talk about things that mattered to him. Talk about things that wasn't even a defense of himself, so he possibly save his own life. So, what Epictetus is saying here is that if death was something that's scary, Socrates would have been scared. For if it were, it would have seemed so to Socrates, death being terrible. For the opinion about death, that it is terrible, is a terrible thing. When we are impeded or disturbed or grieved, let us never blame others but ourselves, that is, our opinions. It is the act of an ill-instructed man to blame others for his own bad condition. It is the act of one who has begun to be instructed to lay the blame on himself, and of one whose instruction is completed, neither to blame another nor himself. Alright, so here's the main thing about this whole proposition. The whole thing about this one, this is his, expounding, or his going further into discussion about how your opinions that you have is something that you are in control of. You are in control of your opinions. So there are things that are not that terrible, but the enemy is Epictetus is saying that the enemy is the opinions that are the rumorous opinions that are created because of these things, which are things that we have we have control of, but we don't realize it, which causes us to be we cause ourselves a lot of problems because we have these opinions which are probably false about things that are fine, not even to be feared. But we have these opinions that we are in control of, but we just don't realize it at times. And with this, I agree. I agree that we have full control of our mind. We have full control of our things that we think. I think that we have full control over it. Now I'm going to make it a video after this one which is, if you've ever heard of trickle-down economics, I'm thinking about trickle-down bodily metaphysics. I don't know if that's good terminology. It's probably not, but I'm going to talk about that. But if about this 4 and 5, I would have to say that I agree with these. And to relate that to the 5th one to this, I think it's also relatable because Nhat Hanh in this book, he talks about being mindful of everything that you're doing, not worrying about things all the time. And if you are in a state of oneness where you're constantly conscious of everything that you're thinking and doing, then you'll be in a better state, and you'll be in a state of appreciation where you won't be worried about things all the time, and you will be in a better time. So I don't know, this was pretty much a video of relating Nhat Hanh and Epictetus, but hopefully that's a good thing to discuss, because I totally agree with both of these. And in the next video, I'm going to continue with probably a couple more propositions. I don't know if it'll be 6 and 7 or what it'll be.